Yes, buckle your seatbelt.
Hello all, welcome to another Rambling Canucks Roundtable Reviews. As always, I have Captain Trek and Vance Major with me here, and today we're going to be reviewing TOS The Enemy Within. How are you doing, Cap?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. And you, Vance?
Oh, I am divided like Captain Kirk.
Oh, God damn. All right, well, let's get this shit show on the review on the road, shall we? All right, just your initial thoughts and a quick, very, very, very brief overview, because I have a feeling this one's going to be nothing but a complaint fest. But all right, let's roll. Cap, you go first.
Oh my God, this episode is quite chilling. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, sure. We'll use chilling. Yeah, those people on the planet really needed to chill out. Bada bing. All right. Yeah. Vance, your initial thoughts?
It was so good that we had to pause the program for me because we had rear technician, third degree lieutenant commander, whatever, Gregson or whatever the hell his name was. Like, dude, just say what your problem is, dude. Like, Kirk's over there trying to get his dick wet with whatever, Roman Rand. Like, say what the problem is. Like, you're sitting there giving your social security card, your information number, like everything, like your phone number, like just say what the emergency is. Like, I hope I never have a heart attack with that guy around, because
yeah, by the time he gets through giving the introductions, you're dead.
We dead?
Yeah, like that was the funniest part of the thing. Besides the I'm Captain Kirk, this was so over the top, and it was perfect cheese. I mean, it was so bad it was good.
I don't know if I want to go that far, but it was definitely, it was there. So basically, the main overview of this show is transporter malfunction, and Kirk gets split into two people. So his good side, his bad side.
Hold on, we gotta, God dang it, I can't stop. Okay, so not only did they do it once with the name and title and birth certificate code, whatever. They did it twice, and that's what got me. Like, not only did they do it once, they did it twice with like titles and shit. Like, they were the writer was getting paid for word of how much was in there. Like, what is with this script? Like, they've never done that in Star Trek, unless you're getting court-martialed or something. To me, I barely remembered we had people on the planet because I couldn't get past the titles. Like, what is with that? That's all. I just had to go on that ramble because I couldn't stop laughing to myself about why are we doing this?
It's like, even like, that's something that's always bothered me with the original series somewhat, because it doesn't happen too much in TNG, right? Because like, if Riker hits the communicator and goes, Jean-Luc or Captain, right? Go ahead, Riker, right? It's not Riker here, right? Like, Spock should not have to tell Kirk that it's Spock.
It would have been great if Sulu on the planet was like helmsman third class Sulu.
Yeah, exactly. We need frig. Jesus Christ.
That would have really put it over the top.
And my other issue with this whole thing is, okay, at this point, does the Enterprise not have shuttles? Like, are shuttles not a thing at this point?
Well, they hadn't been brought up yet. So I don't think they were, because you have to remember in the original series, that's why they did the transporter effect. So they hadn't been brought up yet. And I don't think it's until Galileo 7 that we actually see a shuttlecraft. So if they had been thought up yet, I could then give that argument for why are we not using shuttlecrafts. If they had been thought of, I would have at least given the line, we don't have any shuttlecrafts available, or we just got transferred shuttles or whatever. They're not properly used. Like there's an easily in canon excuse for that if they had been
can't
thought
operate in those conditions or something.
Right.
Yeah,
So
the atmosphere is not safe for entry or something.
Right. So I can't really say that's a big problem with the episode. But I mean, real world, they hadn't been thought of yet. I mean, that's why they did the transporters. So I can't fault that as the episode, and that's not a major gripe for me. If this had been season 2, I'd have been like, why is that not brought up? Again, that would have been a gripe for, maybe it's the atmosphere that we can't use them. And that it would have been, hey, a throwaway line would have salvaged this. But as of this point yet, I can still excuse that for they hadn't been thought of yet. So I can forgive that. To me, the writing of your guys, you had the transporter thing. You're like, that's really weird. And then you beam up, Kirk, and you're like, it didn't occur to you to stick around and say, well, this happened to the dog. It might happen to a human. But let's just all leave the transporter room and conveniently, give access to the ship to a duplicate. To me, it's like that was a common sense factor that had to do with the script. Not
only that, but okay, if you're having an issue where you're transporting up a dog and you get 2 dogs, when Captain Kirk says, I'm ready to beam up, shouldn't he have been like, sir, I'm not so sure that's going to happen? Well, at that point, shouldn't there have been a red flag? Well, let me test this because the last time we tried to bring one thing up, we brought up 2. Especially when you're considering you're transporting the captain of all people.
Yeah. Right? To me, that would have been the perfect time to be like, okay, where's Ensign Ricky? Let's beam him up and see if that would have been the perfect time to do that. I did like how Sulu did have a chance to shine by talking about the service there sucks, and he kind of had some funny jokes and
the coffee jokes. Yeah,
if you don't have coffee, sake will do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rice wine.
I'm sorry, rice.
Yeah. I found that.
Difference.
I found him the most enjoyable part of the episode, even though he had the least amount to do. I mean, he had less to do than third rank transition, emergency room guy, But the thing I really didn't. The thing that I found myself face palming over was when Spock was like, "You can't afford to be weak in front of the crew."
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a second, you have an imposter running on board. Tell
the crew.
Yeah, tell the crew. This is an emergency situation. Spock, you're wrong. I mean, I know that what they were going for was more of a humanistic story, and these are this wasn't as much of a no, by the regulation, you have an imposter, you need to be relieved of duty, you can't make decisions. For them to say, Jim, it's your decision. No, dude, you can't make that decision. The doctor needs to be the one making these decisions for you, because you can't. For the captain, you're incapable of making a command decision. You need to be relieved of duty. So to me, I don't think they had really established so much that Starfleet was a military organization, but it kind of fell flat here because, is it not? I think they were just more interested in telling stories. But for me, going back and watching this, I'm like, this is really poor storytelling, because I don't connect with the character, because it's like this is just really stupid to me. You're letting a guy who is being all can't make a decision.
To be fair, this is still in the time of, and I guess we still have it to some degree now, but back then, this is still where, men don't show weakness, blah, 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 blah. And so Spock is basically telling him, you can't be weak in front of the crew. And to me, that's just like, well, no, because a good leader is honest with his crew no matter what. It's just different times and different thinking.
See, but that's the thing, though, with Spock being the logical person, if you were to ever make the argument, like, even the thing about Star Trek, though, is it's always been, forward thinking. Even if Kirk were to think that way of like, I can't be weak in front of the crew.
Yeah.
Spock would be the one to say, Captain, you need to inform the crew of this issue.
Yeah, okay, I can see your point there because, it would be Spock that would be the counteract.
Yeah.
That should have been the other argument, the other side of that argument.
I could even see Bones saying, we can't tell the crew because you can't be weak in front of, like, I could see him being kind of, but I can't. But I can't see. Spock. Yeah, to me that felt very off, and I did not like that one bit. To me, I felt when Kirk finally went to the for the crew and told them, "Hey, there's an imposter running around." But again, what also felt off was when they kind of had to pep talk him as he's talking to the crew. I'm like, okay, guys, he seriously just needs to be relieved of duty. Like, this is embarrassing, not only for the captain, and I'm reminded of in The Next Generation, how they were talking about relieving Captain Picard in one of the first season episodes, and I forget what the title of it was. But they talk about relieving Captain Picard because he's incapable of making decisions, or he's making wrong decisions or whatnot. Forgive me if I'm butchering the story, but it's one of those things where it's like, clearly Kirk cannot make a command decision here, and why are you allowing him, especially when he's making a speech? The best thing to do is relieve him of duty. Even if he stays on the bridge, so everybody can keep an eye on him and not the imposter. And then have Spock make the thing to say, look, everybody be on the lookout for the captain. We have the captain on the bridge, or we have the captain in a secured location. Keep the crew informed, but keep the captain in a secure location.
Well, my question was, why didn't they have someone escorting the captain around rather than letting him roam free?
Because
with the imposter on board.
Because he needed to get that phaser from that really cool guy who just handed it over.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the imposter, though.
How you doing, bucko? Oh, I'm doing great, sir. Oh, I'm down for the count.
Yeah, but see,
and the best part
was
about
the
that.
imposter. So, but then they let the real captain, or the good captain, I should say, roam free. It's like, how do you know which is which?
This was not a very good episode.
Well, and the best part about what you just brought up is Captain Kirk had just made the announcement ship-wide, there's an imposter.
Yep.
Wouldn't it set off red flags to you if your captain is asking for your phaser?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. To me, it's one of those things where it's like, look, guys. I mean, it's just the writing falls apart. It's one thing if you're in a section of the ship that doesn't hear the communication, or if he's like, oh yeah, I just got back from, what did I miss? And the captain's like, oh, nothing. Can I see your phaser? Like, show clearly that the guy didn't hear the announcement or something like that.
Yeah.
Therefore, it shows why, the guy's, not stupid. He just didn't get the message. Therefore, there you go. But I mean, clearly you've got the most inexperienced and title ready crew in Starfleet. It's just that this was just poor writing. I think they needed another pass at script polishing this, because it's just, they were just ready to go. Let's get this out, guys.
Yeah. A lot of the writing didn't make any sense in this one.
No. The premise of it was really good. I mean, the doppelganger type, like
the premise is good. It's just, for me, I mean, I can grant it that it's, they're just finding their feet. This is first season, but even the shuttle thing bothers me, and it's like, well, what, did the Enterprise not have shuttles at this point? Well, go ahead.
Even at finding your feet, though, and again, like I said, I forgive the shuttlecraft thing, because that's something where it's like, they haven't. until we get to the Galileo 7, which I think is early in season 1 or maybe season 2, like until we actually show the shuttlecrafts, I can forgive that because they haven't been brought up yet. Until we see it on screen, I can forgive that. So, but I cannot forgive bad or lazy writing. And this is a case of bad writing. It's got a great idea. The execution of it is just piss poor. Spock sitting there saying, "You can't be weak," yet in the next scene, he's being a very weak captain by giving a really bad speech that you've got to walk him through. And he's sitting there fumbling through it, dude, what are you doing? So to me, this is just really, really bad. And they've got a bunch of great character moments, but ultimately it goes nowhere. And it's got a great premise of good versus bad. Our kind of negative emotions kind of lead toward some of the more positive decisions in our life because it's, yin and yang. And that's a really great idea. But, it's just, you got a lot of boneheads around there,
Yeah, and somebody get poor Ensign Rand some therapy. Jeepers creepers. In these first couple of episodes, that Ensign Rand's taking a lot of shite. She needs some therapy. But anyway, so let's kind of put a bow on this one and go around the table. Final thoughts and grades, starting with Cap.
Oh Lord. As much as I hate to say it, I'm gonna have to give this a 3 because, quite honestly, this story was just, the premise was good, the execution was bad.
I can see where you're going with that one, Vance.
I honestly, I have to agree 100% with Cap. 3. It's one of those episodes where it's like it doesn't hold my attention all that much. It's got a great idea behind it. It's really piss poor writing, and if it wasn't for me laughing at that one part, I really wouldn't care too much about it, and it's easily skippable. I wouldn't recommend this to anybody who hasn't seen Star Trek before, and it's a lot of the Star Trek episodes I found, I watch the favorites and then I go back to watch the ones that I don't really like. And this is one of the ones that I go back and watch, that I don't really like, because it's like I know who the characters are already, and then I watch the more forgivable episodes. That's what this one is, more forgivable.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm pretty much right with you guys at a 3. It's not the worst episode I've ever seen, but it's just there's too many things that make me go, huh? So yeah, I'm at a 3 too. So I hope that everybody has enjoyed our little discussion here. And I want to thank Captain Trek and Vance Major for coming on again. Thank you guys. You make these roundtable reviews enjoyable, and it's always good to get together and do these. So I want to thank you guys for coming up and bearing with me through this.
Oh, my pleasure.
Absolutely. You are quite welcome.
And until next time, folks, take her easy.